right just outside the window there. He grows up the top, comes back down, starts over again, looking for a bird.
Just, it blows me away how many different species of birds there are. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
You know all the bird sounds? Did you learn bird
No,
sounds?
I don't. I do have a tape at home that has a lot of them on, but I've never really spent a lot of time of studying that.
I've actually been getting up at 5:30 and sitting on my porch because I've gone totally crazy. And I discovered that the sounds that the birds make is a lot more at 5:30 than if I get up at 6.
Yeah.
And I just sit out there and praise God. It is just amazing.
Yeah.
All this sound and the variety. I consider it worship.
Yeah.
This fellow here in the springtime is really a singer. The red-winged blackbirds, and they were around our place out there. We had a lake. We had about a 4.5 acre lake, and you'd be working out there in the spring. He'd be up in a tree, just singing away. Do you have any more questions? You're welcome to, like I say, look at these. Watch the knives because they're extremely sharp.
Okay, I do have a question. Since you work with tools like that, have you ever cut yourself really bad?
No,
Really?
no. The only time I cut myself was 2 weeks ago, or over a month ago, down at the lake here, was fishing, and I caught a bass that swallowed it so far. I was trying to cut its head off, and it flipped and slipped, and I cut my finger there really bad. That was it. No, I used to do it as a kid. It took me a long time to learn, you know.
Yeah.
Don't get your going this way. Get your finger out of the way, you know. You go like this, cut. When you're cutting with something like this, you're cutting back here, and you have control of the knife, and you learn not to grab it if it slips out of your hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you made mention earlier, maybe even before the meeting started, that you guys have been trying to look for somebody that you could teach this to, that would take interest in it, and
Yeah.
it's been tough for you trying to find some of the younger generation.
Yeah. Not fine anymore now. Young people are not interested, and too bad.
Yeah.
It's an interesting hobby. So far.
Hey Dick, who was the carver from Prairie Town? Don Reeder's wife's father. You knew him, didn't you?
Oh, Carl Weichel.
Lakeville, yeah.
Carl Weichel. He used to be also a charter member of the Johnny Appleseed Woodcarvers. Lived over at Frederictown by the dam.
Huh.
And he carved these things by the hundreds. And he would sell them at the fair. How much do you think he would sell this for? Price tag's already on it. $6.50.
Really?
Really. And when he died, he had a whole pickup truckload of cutouts of various things that he was going to work on. In fact, I still have about 4 or 5 of these that are rough at home. And he had a grinder. Have you seen them? It used to be like the old barber shop covers when it hangs up here, and then it had a shaft going down to the cover. Well, this was going down a handpiece that you put a round stone on or something like that, or a little half-inch piece of sandpaper and go around. That's how he ground those all out of there.
Mm. So how many, back in its heyday, how many members were there in the Johnny Appleseed Carving Association?
Well, I would say there's up to 40 to 50 members at one time. That would include their wives too. They would bring those. They started out carving once a week and to get together, and then it got more socially, where they had one periods a month where their wives would join them. And
But they're still together. They haven't disbanded yet.
they have not officially disbanded, no.
Okay.
But you know what? You won't find them in chip chats anymore. There are no more shows, that type of thing. And they were gonna come down and visit me because they were interested in my wood carvings, because every time I go to a dinner or something with them, I take one along and show them. And they were, some guys that were quite interested. But then the virus came along and that sort of killed that. In fact, I got this off of Carl, and I put my cards on that, lean them against that.
Huh.
Carl was also making fishing lures,
Oh.
and he had buckets of rough stock and fishing lures too. That he
Made
was
the
making.
lures out of wood, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
balsa.
Huh.
Balsa. A lot of those plugs that are there are made out of balsa.
Yeah.
Balsa. Yeah.
Huh.
They're beautiful.
Did I cover the subject okay?
Yeah, that's great.
This is, I made this one not too long ago. The lady asked me to make her a red-winged blackbird, so I did. And I gave her just a blackbird, and then I made one myself. Got some of these leaves up at Hobby Lobby and tried to make it look like a swamp, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty.
That's the other thing, habitat is probably one of my weaknesses.
Did you carve the, what's it called,
The what?
the,
Cattail.
Oh, the cattail?
Cattail.
Oh, yeah, that's all made to,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm running out of these type of things, knots and stuff to set on. Over down in Danville there, the sycamore tree, when I come over here in '93, was dying, and the limbs and everything was falling off, and there's all kinds of knots there. Man, I saved those things. They're great, but
So why don't you fill us in? Tell us the secret of how you made the balls inside the. How do you make the balls inside the
I'm
ball?
gonna tell you a secret. You just keep cutting.
Just keep cutting.
Well, there was a couple of, there was a guy over in Grove City, was really a very smart guy. He said, it's really easy. All you do is cut off what you don't want.
you what?
Cut off what you don't want. Well, I know my wife and I had been down to that Werther's Museum
Yeah.
in New Philly, or Dover or whatever, and seeing, you know, all the trains that he had made out of wood, and how he made those scissors.
Yeah,
Can you? I'm sure you can make those too, right?
yeah, I have a pair of those.
I'll do you.
Yeah, I bought a pair. And it's really simple how he did that.
Huh.
You can do that with just about 5 or 6 cuts. And you need something like a scalpel though to do that. And you just stick it in here, stick it in there, and stick it in there, and all of a sudden it works back and forth.
You might have been a brain surgeon. You know?
Well, when you see his, when you really see his work that he did, especially the things when he did his scissors, he took a railroad spike, piece of wood, and turned that into a ball of those little pinchers, about bigger than a softball,
Yeah.
and they're all attached.
Yeah.
Well, and you've been at that same museum, right? Down there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And he made that tree out of the scissors.
Right, yeah.
It's just phenomenal. I mean, if you haven't been there, have you ever been there?
I don't think
You get a
so.
chance to go down, just take 39 all the way down into
Dover.
Dover, and you'll see signs going in
Werther's Museum, yes.
Werther's Museum, yeah.
But take a look at these pictures here. I'm in here someplace. Where did I? Come on. There we go. I made a red-breasted woodpecker on one side and a red-headed woodpecker on the other side. Sold that to a guy up in Brunswick. They only showed the first place winners in there. That was the first place winner.
Well, sir, I appreciate you coming. Let's give him a round of applause. Well, if you want to stay afterwards, Kathy had stopped by and got some When you get Klondike bars. So if you like Klondike ice cream bars, stick around for a little bit and keep your distance.
Like a- We can put our masks back up. We'll be walking around.
But how you gotta eat your bar though?
Well, in the car, in the car.
All right, thank you folks for coming. I'll help you get that together again, Dick, and carry it, help you carry it out when you're ready to.
That's okay, I'll take care of it.
Okay.
I'll get my Klondike bar.
You are amazing. It's like unbelievable.
I have some of the other big ones I have at home is I have a Cooper's Hawk and also a Great Horned Owl. I'd bring them, I thought
You ever make a loon?
What?
A loon?
Yes, I did. I did a 3/4 size, so they're huge.
Oh yeah, they are.
They take a piece of wood that's 10 by 20.
I can't imagine somebody doing a bald eagle.
No, I might do a head, but I'm not gonna do a full bald eagle.
No.
That should be fine.
That's a Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You know, long years ago I saw one, and I had ever seen it for years. This spring, I had one that, I don't know where it was living, but it was in a tree stump that we cut down a couple years ago.
I don't have the patience.
It was in there.
Some
and
deal
something
with that.
over and
I just
another
want to
place
do
for a
something, get it
couple
done.
dollars. Have you ever heard how much noise they make?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they
But it
sound
makes a
like.
difference.
Really, yeah,
Started
like you're in a
early
jungle.
enough.
Yeah, right.
Mine,
Yeah.
like to do it. The stars
It's
now.
killed there,
I was
isn't it?
Nervous
Yes,
wreck.
it is.
Right, oh, and then he was,
You know,
left
just
it
the
out,
way it
and he
is.
said,
You know.
You need more of these wood bases.
Sure.
I think I've got about 5 at home. I'll bring them down
Are
here.
they small like that, or?
They're different sizes.
Yeah.
My
well,
father-in-law was a wood carver.
I'll buy them from you.
No, I'll just give them to you.
Fine,
I
yeah.
had them in a garage sale
No,
a
I
couple
use
weeks
those.
ago.
I use
Yeah,
those.
I'll bring them for you. I'll give them to you.
These aren't very, these are kind of extinct, aren't they? You don't see
I
many
have
of them.
one.
Oh, yeah, no, they're more plentiful than you think.
Really?
In fact, my son
Oh,
So I have a round,
just
flat
lives
mirror.
just outside of Mount Vernon there on
I'll
Worcester
bring that
Road.
too. 'cause maybe
And
you
he says they're becoming to each
Oh,
finger.
yeah.
Yeah, the slip feeder out there,
And
and
I
they
put them in
come
my
out
garage
into
sale,
that.
and I know
Well, I
that
see
they're
more- when I'm out
valuable.
in the woods
People
deer
didn't wanna
hunting,
give me $1.
I see
on
more of
it.
the
I'd rather
smaller
give them to
woodpecker.
somebody that
Yeah,
uses
red
it.
head.
The redhead, yeah. I see more of those than I do these here. These are beautiful.
Yeah, they are.
They're
But like you said, they get the squawk and they're really loud.
Oh,
yeah, they
yeah.
are. I said they sound like a turkey when they call.
Yeah.
They don't like Christian music. I was having trouble on my cedar house with these woodpeckers, and they were just annihilating it. And I put my radio in the window and played Christian music, and they stayed away.
Christian music?
Yeah, I just said Christian music. That's not what I played, that's why they didn't come, so I just said they didn't like it.
It's sensitive. It's sensitive.
Oh, these are just wonderful.
I think, up beyond the.
Oh, yeah?
right there.
Look,
And I-
In case you're interested,
and I have a
I've
plant
done,
there, you know. It looks
let's see,
nice.
92 different
Dick
species.
said something about.
About,
I don't know if he's joking. or
About
something.
30 of them, about
Selling it.
16 or 18 of them are
Maybe it's gonna be
wood
the
or
one
ducks.
that is, but, yeah.
Let me take a picture of that.
Plants. I
There's
like it.
there's ducks, 39 waterfowl,
Hopefully
they're
I
male
got
and
it.
female.
Did you get one of these when you graduated from high school?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then that's why I was looking to see if it was when he got when he
I
graduated
bet
from high school.
Well,
But,
Andrea's furniture.
I have
but
one
it's
of
not.
those.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I wonder if I still have mine.
That's all that you've done
They
there?
used to give everybody one when they graduated.
we have
I think you say
several.
252, right?
Yeah, I record every one of those.
We have several here.
Anything else, anybody wants to come over and try this sometime, they're welcome to come over and put you in one of my guys, you can start making a little feather or something like that. I used to take some painting classes, and I used the mallard speculum feather on there. I just cut it in half so it wouldn't take them so long. But then I'd make one.
So you don't use balsa wood at all, or you?
No,
No,
well, use tupelo.
just tupelo? No, tupelo and
had,
Boy, that's light.
the girl
You know how
peanuts,
light that is?
Yeah.
2 or 3 or something in there. You can see if the kids or anybody stopped.
But-
Tell the
but
difference.
stick your
I can't
fingernail
tell.
into it, figure out what
You ever are-
Stick your fingernail into it.
Behind and-
Girl might be.
It's dense, isn't it? It's dense.
But you try
I mean,
to
you
cut-
could,
That's a
I
real
made a mark in
peanut.
Yeah, you
it,
try to cut down your pocket knife,
Yeah.
it was bounce
There's no
off of
way-
it.
so that's wood there.
No,
Yeah,
That one's
Put it back
which ones
together
are real?
unless he eats
Which
it.
ones are real? Oh, the ones got crack in.
probably, yeah.
This is the real one.
Okay, and then that one there.
You know how to shake.
Oh, yeah. I wanna see you make a wood one with peanuts in it.
He already has one. Who's gonna prove that he doesn't?
Never satisfied.
That would be a miracle.
Yeah, that will be.
Anyways, very good way to spend a lot of time. It's more productive than putting a puzzle together.
Yeah. I tell you what, I would actually love to get into something like that, after once I retire and stuff. Just
Yeah.
because I right now I don't have, well, I do have time in the winter. Because I get laid off in the winter time, so I would have time. Maybe I'll stop over and you can teach me how to do this in the winter.
Others.
That would
This
be
winter.
fun. You
Yeah.
have a lot of time in the winter.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like the days go slow. and
Right.
Yeah, come on over sometime, like I
He wanted
say.
to, was hoping to show some of the family. He-
Right.
he
That's
has
right.
been.
Yeah.
So far, they're not interested.
I do use a magnifier to, when I get into the fine work like wood burning and texture. See what I'm doing.
Yeah, it blows me away the detail of all
And to
that.
do all this with those simple tools, with that little amount
That's
of
it.
stuff, I mean, that's really something.
What do you think, as far as the
Price wise,
detail?
the box for the rotary thing now is about $300 now. The wood burning box is about 90.
I would think that the painting would be just as hard, if not harder, than the carving itself.
Well,
The
there's
detail of the paint,
There's 3 different skills there. Number one is getting the bird roughed out and make it look like a bird.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is texturing it to put it look like really like feathers. The next one is painting it to
But you don't ruin the
now
texture.
bring out the
Right.
color and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
This is amazing.
Yeah, that
I
one
mean,
is.
it's just- Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, all the little dots there. See all the little dots like in the center there?
I probably sold over a dozen of those.
Really?
Yeah. I think the last one I sold was $300.
That one's really neat. Feathers.
Uh-huh.
But I had a friend that his wife used to paint my first carvings.
Still got some
And and anyways, he at that time was making jewelry, and then he liked what I was doing, so he